Praises be to Allah, the Lord of all the worlds. We are back for another episode of The Universal with me, your brother, Jack Alexander. Let's go. It's been a minute on it, so we're going to do a bit of reading today by Allah's grace. I'm going to speak from spirit by Allah's grace and permission. And we're going to come with some understanding, inshallah, by also Allah's grace and permission. See, it's something we always got to remember, is when things happen, they always happen on Allah's watch and with Allah's permission. I've been listening to Brother James. Now, if you go onto YouTube and you put in the People's Podcast, go and listen to Brother James's sessions with Joshua, because they are very powerful, extremely powerful actually, and they give us a trajectory to go on or to embark on in terms of how we can approach what we have from Master Farrakhan Muhammad in a very mathematical way, and in a way that opens us up to the truth that we know nothing. I'll say that again. That we know nothing. Okay? What we know can fit on the end of a pin. And in these sessions with James has a way of producing information that will humble us to a bigger picture. And in fact, not just a bigger picture, but a bigger opportunity for us as students to help, to be as little helpers to the minister. And not only does he give us that, he gives us a very, very powerful insight onto the reality of who the Honourable Minister Louis Farrakhan is in the line of time. Who the Honourable Elijah Muhammad is in the line of time. Who Master Farrakhan Muhammad is in the line of time. And we'll leave it there. So, we'll start in prayer. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. A'udhu billahi minash shaitan ar-Rajim. In the name of Allah, the entirely merciful, the entirely beneficent. All praise is due to Allah, the Lord of all the worlds, sovereign of the day of recompense. It is you, Allah, whom we serve, and it is you, Allah, whom we ask for help. Guide us, Allah, to the straight path, the path of those upon whom you have bestowed favour, not of those who have evoked your anger, nor those who are astray. Praises be to Allah. We're doing a little bit of, it's episode 39, I believe, which does mean we're one step away from 40. And you know what that means for anybody who's actually been watching this. I said it like no one's been watching. But I don't really care, because you know who's been watching the most? Allah. So, you know who's been listening the most? Allah. So, can you imagine? Imagine you're at a restaurant, yeah? You own a restaurant, right? And nobody comes into the restaurant but the Supreme Being. And he buys everything in there so that the restaurant stays up and active. Can you imagine? How much love would the chef have for such a man who would walk in and keep the whole thing going just on his own? What a soldier. What a warrior. What a beautiful display of Allah's love. That he would sustain us. See, one of his names is the maintainer, the sustainer. See? He sustains me. That's why you hear the Honourable Minister Louis Farrakhan say, do all you can. He's actually challenging those who disbelieve in him to actually try their best to essentially cut off his blessings from heaven, cut off his connection from heaven. And, you know, the Quran does actually, like, give similar ways of approaching this, like, in that sense. It will say, like, you know, produce one chapter, you know, in this Quran, the like of it, you cannot do it. So you see how confident God is. And you know, can I say this as well, that do you know how confident God's word is? The word of God is confident. It speaks for itself. It has a... I was telling... You know what? I was watching the England game last night. I should have gone to bed, really. But I thought, you know what? My housemate was there, just sat there on his own. I was like, you know what? I'll sit with him for 10 minutes. And 10 turned into 20, and 20 turned into 30. And anyway, we ended up just sitting and chatting or whatever. And I said to him, he looked at me, he said, just said, how long have you not eaten meat then? I said, roughly about 7 years. Be about 7 years now or something like that. And he was sort of saying to me, like, you know, because here's something you should know before I carry on. Here's something you should know about the teachings of the Most Honourable Elijah Muhammad. When you represent it properly, when you're obedient, you give off the essence of unlikeness. And that is very intriguing to this world. Even though this world likes to say, oh, I'm not really interested in him. Oh, he's a bit boring, him. You know, deep down, under all the bravado and under all the ego and under all the pride, that part, they think, God, something's going on with him. Like, they genuinely think, like, you break, oh my God. We cast truth at falsehood until we knock out its brains. See, when you say knock out its brains, that means knock out the pride from, you know, from having legs to stand on. In other words, that's why the devil can't exist around God. And that's why God instructs us not to exist around the devil. Not because, you know, not because for him, for you. Because he deems you so precious to himself. He doesn't want you around those who would violate the signs of Allah. So anyway, and by the way, God is a very jealous God. God is a jealous God, you know. And the more I understand, well, the more I begin to understand, keyword being begin, the more I see God's point of view. See? Allah didn't... Okay, I'll give it you like this as well. When a cat and a cat mate, what do they produce? Just another cat. When an elephant and an elephant reproduce, or, you know, mate, they reproduce another elephant. We're saying that Master Farrakhan Muhammad is God. So what did Master Farrakhan Muhammad come to reproduce? Himself. Meaning, what does that mean for us who follow him, who believe in him, who await his return? It means, brother and sister, that he wants to make us into, in fact, I'm going to put a word in there, all up into himself. See? The Honourable Minister Louis Farrakhan was told by Elijah, I want you to line up your mind with my mind, brother, so that our mind is one mind, so that when they hear you, they're hearing me. And when they hear me, it's like they're hearing you. And there's a humble line to balance on in that, because a lot of people abuse power, and a lot of people abuse authority, and the authority that they would or could or are given. And you know, it's very interesting to see how man and woman, with just a little bit of something, can ruin like everything with just a little bit of knowledge, or they can have a really good impact with just a little bit of knowledge, you know, if you're obedient to it. So anyway, we're on this subject of my diet, and really what I'm tuning in and listening to is like, what are you on about? Like, what are you about? That's what my housemate was basically saying. I said, brother, right. I said, we're electrical beings. Can we agree on that? He said, yeah. I said, because this brain is full of, you know, neurons are firing everywhere constantly, you know. I said, if we was to ruffle and tumble on a trampoline and then we touch each other after it, we'd have an electric shock. Me and you, pardon me. So I was giving this example that we are essentially beings of light. We are conducive. We can conduct electricity. Okay. So I was saying that our food that we eat is not necessarily where that electricity is truly at its maximum. Where it's at its maximum is when we think thoughts of light, when we combine with food of light. They're both food. Thoughts and food could be the same word in some sense. See? When you're thinking, you're really eating. And when you're eating, you're really thinking in a way, like, especially the women, for all those women that are listening, the many millions that are watching this worldwide famous broadcast. No, I'm joking. But you know what I mean. You know, there's something about a woman and when she's eating, you know, never disrupt a woman when she's eating. Because she's also thinking, or like rather the thoughts. The thoughts are very interesting, let's just say that. You can have some beautiful... That's why she loves going to dinner, have you noticed that? She loves going to dinner. Once she look going, I want to go out for dinner, brother. Like, where should we go? Should we go out for food? Like, do you mean you want to think? You want to think again? Praise be to Allah. So anyway, I get onto the subject of like, you know, light upon light. I said, because now I said, my teacher, the Honourable Minister Louis Farrakhan, because the brother now follows me on Instagram. He's followed me for a while. He's been watching my stuff and that. So I can tell he's asking questions with like, what do you mean by that? And like, listen, the Honourable Minister Louis Farrakhan is one of them men that you just can't miss. You can't avoid. Once you've heard that lion roar, you are not the same. Let's just say that. Because, as Brother James explains, the wheels have 3 bombs, and these 3 bombs are set to detonate after drilling through the Earth's core, having been dropped from a tremendous height. And then it brings up a mountain. A very big mountain. Just like a thought or a word from the minister can drill into the very core of our thinking and into the very core of what produces thought and detonates it. You know, it reminds me of the cracking of the atom. Detonates it, bringing up a mountain. You know, I believe bringing up a mountain a mile high or something like that, destroying everything in a 50 square mile radius, right? Now, the 50 square mile radius of what's being destroyed can represent falsehood being broken and split up and destroyed. And the mountain, you know, can be equated to truth established. And what is a mountain for, beloved? Do we know? It is to stop the earth from convulsing. And what does the earth represent? Represents our earthly, our fleshly connection, which means our, you know, I guess our beast-like, or like our horizontal nature. See? Praises be to Allah. So I was saying that our thoughts are more important than the food we eat. I said because you can eat the best foods in the world in the physical, but if you're eating terrible food in the spiritual, and you're eating terrible food in the realms of your mentality and in your thinking, the light of your mind is so strong, the power of the brain is so strong that it corrupts or distorts or fractures the very influence that each cell of light would have on the food. So look, the food might be great, but if the thoughts are not as great, if not greater than the food, or producing a relationship with that food, then the thoughts end up attacking the food's progress that it can make. See? So it's a universal, it's a universal way of seeing it, innit? So this is a bit of a, this is just a prologue. I remember the minister saying that. Like he talks for like 30 minutes, then he goes, oh yeah, that was just a prologue. We'll call this the prologue. Oh, I love it when the minister, yeah, has not even started. Do you know what I mean? In a sense, I'm actually glad he doesn't give the greeting straight away, because I'm like, yeah, go on, let's hear what you got to say, and then you do your lecture, because it just means I've got more time with the minister, which is beautiful. I just love the minister, and we should all love the minister, with no conditions added, no conditions attached. You know that Allah has his hand on him at all times, in all instances. He is a very, 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 very important man. Because listen, you know what's, because I did post something recently, and I guess I'll go into it a little bit on this. I posted it on Instagram. It was a testimony that I had the other day in a vision-like experience with the Honourable Elijah Muhammad and the Honourable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And in the vision, in the vision-like experience, in the dream or whatnot, the minister was almost like me and Elijah was like observing the way that the minister was with certain things. Is with certain things, not was, is. Now, not to go into too much detail, because I've gone in probably enough detail on the experience on my Instagram, which is going to be in the link below, so you can go and check that out. Just type in that name on Instagram, Brother Jack Alexander, no spaces. But in this short, I'm going to give you a short explanation of it. We were both, right, me and Elijah Muhammad were both laughing together because we were both in harmony with who he is. Like, you know what's really interesting? I'm going to say this because I am very, very confident about this. My love for the Honourable Minister Louis Farrakhan is like the Honourable Elijah Muhammad's love for the Honourable Minister Louis Farrakhan. I say that with full confidence. I say that from the depths of my soul. And I don't say it in a way like I'm trying to compare myself in any way with the Honourable Elijah Muhammad. Because what, like, come on, like, I'm not that dumb. You know what I mean? I'm not that dumb. Come on. What I'm saying is, if you've got love, you've got it all. But point being is, in this experience, God, I don't even know why I'm talking about this now, but in this experience, me and Elijah Muhammad, well, put it this way, I was given the centre stage in a way to explain something or to have my take on it. Now, whatever my explanation was, I don't know. But all I know is that when I'd said it, even I was shocked about what I said, to be honest. I almost thought, did I just say that in a way? And then the Honourable Elijah Muhammad, like, confirms it. He kind of, like, he accepts it. Now, this is the part that's so hilarious, is that I have explained it on my Instagram, but again, I'm just going to kind of go into it briefly. And then I'll come back to where we went, hopefully, originally with this. Me and the Honourable Elijah Muhammad start laughing because we basically, again, we're in harmony with who he is. Oh, it's so deep. Again, maybe you might need... See, I needed... it's really interesting. I love Allah who makes things happen in perfect motion, in perfect order. How he ordains certain things in our lives is so masterful. Like, talk about a master of timing. Talk about a master of everything. Because what Brother James disclosed in those videos, it essentially is the same thing that the Pope of Rome disclosed to the Honourable Minister Louis Farrakhan about his teacher, the Honourable Elijah Muhammad, in also a vision-like experience with the black stone or the black pearl. And the Pope was trying to give this to the Honourable Elijah Muhammad. And the Pope was giving this, or trying to give this pearl, this stone, to the Honourable Minister Louis Farrakhan to give to him as an apology, really, as a when you've been when you've been in trouble and you go to court and you're giving the judge puppy eyes because the judge has the juice to send you where you're going due to your deed or deeds. Well, let's just say the Pope was trying to make peace with the Honourable Elijah Muhammad. And what he said to the Minister Louis Farrakhan, the Pope, regarding the Honourable Minister Louis Farrakhan, he said, he's more than you think he is. He's more than you all think he is. He's more than you all think he is. It's very interesting. Now, the reason I'm linking it back to Brother James is because Brother James said something very, very powerful, that I will only say this, that the Minister Louis Farrakhan, he's more than you all think he is. And this is why I will be forever grateful that Allah gave me the heart that he gave me, to be able to see that man and to be able to accept that man and to be able to follow that man and really have no, as they say, no beef or no qualms or no problem, no trouble, no bad blood, no animosity, no envy, nothing that would hold me back from this man. Besides my own silly ways. Do you know what I mean? Like, like my own ignorance or my own not viewing myself correctly and not doing as I should to myself, not doing for self, as they say, as we say. So anyway, oh my god. So to link it back, right? We are beings that are made to receive the light of truth. Whether we accept it is really based on how deeply we are in the condition that we're in terms of the condition of the world. As it says in the Bible, we are shaped in sin, born in sin and shaped in iniquity. Depending on how deeply rooted that has gone into us and how deeply the world has been made attractive to us, this worldly life, will in some sense determine how well we can receive a man like that, like the Honourable Minister Louis Farrakhan, in all of his work, in all of his divine inspiration on things. Do you see what I mean? Like, I tell you, like, praises be to Allah. I'll just say that, praise be to Allah. Because, so anyway, I'm starting to view the minister. Even his old lectures are very, very interesting to me. I'll give you a little, like, personal testimony about myself. For several years now, I have this relationship with the Quran, okay, that is like the first 4 chapters, maybe 5, I refuse to read it. Not refuse to read it. No, that's not the right way of saying it. I purposely left it out from my studies. The best way I could explain it like this. Sorry, I'm moving into different points. Try to keep up with me, beloved, because it's really key. It's really key. This George Lucas is a director for Star Wars, right? And in his, you would say, wisdom, you could say, in his wisdom or knowing of the times and knowing of the times to come, he saved the first 3 films from being directed and produced and made because he knew he was going to have the right technology and the right means to produce those films the way that he saw it. Now, to link that back to the reason why I left out the first 4 or 5 chapters of the Quran for a while, is that I had a knowing that it would benefit me if I waited to read it. Now, it's not that I didn't read it, but in its entirety, I never quite fully read it because it's almost like, to relate it then back to the minister's lectures, his old lectures, as I revisit the minister's lectures, see, I've watched these videos, and I mean a lot of them, if not all of them, on YouTube. You think, how could you have done that in 8 to 10 years? Well, believe me, I've got it done. I've got a lot of, like, I have done my Minister Farrakhan journeys, believe me, and I'm not done, believe me, because now we go back over it again. It's like turning I got to the end of the page, now I'm turning the page. Now, the new page is the same as the old page, but just with the next stage or the next phase, the next part. So, the minister, what I'm learning from listening to the old lectures of the minister is that Elijah Muhammad is speaking. Y'all didn't hear me. In some of those lectures, I can hear the Honourable Elijah Muhammad. I know it's very strange. It might not be strange to some. In fact, it shouldn't be strange to some. But It's almost like the Honourable Elijah Muhammad has completely enveloped his mind to himself and is speaking. And how many times do you hear the minister say that this is Elijah Muhammad speaking? Yet it is the minister saying those words. But he will say, this is the Honourable Elijah Muhammad speaking. And so, and you know what's really interesting as well? I'll give you this personal testimony as well. I hear the Honourable Elijah Muhammad in people that are like how to explain it? I hear him coming through. Oh, how do we even explain this? You know what it reminds me of? The Bible. When it says, my sheep know my voice. And you know what? I want you to... Anybody would know that voice. Do you know what I mean? Anybody would know that spirit, really. Anybody would know that frequency. That's what I'll give it. I'll give it that. I'll put a frequency on it. Because truth, guidance, the Honourable Elijah Muhammad, the exalted Christ, he has a frequency of his own, you know. Well, he has a frequency alike to the Lord Master Farrakhan Muhammad himself. And that carries something. See, we're going back to electricity. That carries an electrical energy, an electrical, you know, an electrical power to it, an electrical essence to it, source to it. There's an electrical element to it. And I say electrical because it does something to the way you think. It's not alike to what you're used to. It's unalike. And only if you've studied to a certain degree can you recognize that voice. And, you know, sometimes when I get the bell in the ear and stuff, I get the word that I'm supposed to get. I get the message. Other times it's harder to receive what he's saying and what is being given, either by him or one of the angels. You know, God, I don't even know how we've got to this, but you should know by now. You should know by now. So anyway, this all came from food as well. He only asked me about food. He only asked me how long did I stop eating meat. Gave him a whole breakdown of the universe and the most wisest men in it. Praise be to Allah. You know what I mean? This is, and you know, Allah can make something out of nothing, you know. Allah made this whole entire reality out of nothing. He brought this whole entire universe out from nothing. He destroyed the impossible when he brought this universe and all that which is in it, which is a word, out of nothing. And what's the relationship with words on thinking or thoughts? Specifically words, as I said last episode, put in a certain order, like links on a chain. See, do you remember when I said that? When certain words link as links on a chain, and each link is strong, each link fits, each link has electrical energy or an electrical current around, within, and above it, then it does something to the caliber of our thought. It does something to the way that we view even the little things. You know, you ready? Master Farrakhan Muhammad could be in several places at one time. And likewise, when certain thoughts or when certain explanations are given, our mind has the capacity to be in several places at once. So like the drill going in and drilling and cracking up the falsehood, what that does is it scatters the debris off our mind, and the light within it can expand. And when the light expands, we experience a moment where we experience God. I hope you're hearing me, because the way I'm viewing it, I can see this. It's happening. Like, I can see this. Like, I you know, and the Honourable Elijah Muhammad did say that a picture is like 1,000 words. Something like along those lines. He said a picture is as 1,000 words. Meaning that if somebody gives you a picture of a process, or a picture of a situation, a picture of a condition, a picture of a thought, an explanation, it can do something to the very makeup of our being, of our mind, of our then being able to, you know, reach for the stars. Meaning that our mind, after the dross is wiped off it, it reaches up. See, light, in fact, it doesn't reach up, it reaches in a 360-degree spectrum. As in, you know, they say reach for the stars. You know, reach for Allah's. In a way that, like, reach for the God in you. Allow the God in you to live. The messenger and the minister, specifically the minister, you know, reiterates that, you know, would you kill a messenger of God? And we say, God, blimey, no, never, never, never. He said, well, you murder the messenger of God every day. But I'm going to take it one step further. That messenger equals God in you. And sometimes we're so bound by the slave element of religion that we don't expand out of fear. We don't study enough. That's just the root of it. Because if we did study, we wouldn't be intimidated by anybody who is learned, or by a thought. Do you see what I'm saying? By a thought. A thought, you know, it's gonna, the right thought, see, the brain cell is created to think rightly. The right thought will produce a volume of things, see? When you remove the dross off the mind, you remove the dust away. You allow the mind to shine. You allow the mind to breathe. Something I should do right now. Beloved, I sometimes forget to breathe, you know. I'd probably be a perfect minister, me, you know, because I don't shut up. No, it's not that I don't shut up, but, like, you know, I listen to the minister so much that I just believe that I can help him. Yeah. I believe that I can help him. I believe. We'll just leave it at that. I believe. I'm a believer. I try to do. Boom, 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 boom. That's the way it seems. And I saw her face. Now I'm a believer. And I down in my mind, I'm in love. Oh, I'm a believer in Farrakhan. Yeah. So that's a good little prologue in it. We've done a part 2 prologue there, didn't we? So yeah, I think he I don't think he ever wants to speak to me again. You know. That's just it. That's just what it is, yo. So, we have some words today. We're going to do... Should we try run through... Gosh. We'll do it until we're I'd say exhausted, but that's not going to happen. I mean, I have been up since 2 a.m. So, you know, maybe, no, 3 a.m. So maybe I will get a bit tired. And plus, I am fasting as well, so I'm probably going to want some food at some point. I have my heart set on some strawberries. And we'll do a bit of Quran, I guess, as well. What is the 39th chapter? Does anybody know? Because I do not know what it is. 39th. What is the 39th? Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Pretty sure it's the 39th episode, this, isn't it? 37, 38, 39. The companies. Okay. Yep. We're going to definitely read that one. Because we have a lot of company. Hopefully not bad company. You know what, if there is bad company, we're going to break up its mind. We're going to cast truth at falsehood until we knock out its brains. Okay, so first thing on the what I've wrote here. They state with the tongue what is not in the heart. And is that from the other one? Hold on. Where is that first page? Oh gosh, don't let me lose that. Please, God. Where did I put it? Am I, like, going crazy here? Right, well, it's going to be somewhere. I don't really care. Oh, yeah, it's underneath it. Oh, my gosh. Listen, I don't like losing any work. I don't like to waste nothing. I'm like the God in that sense. I love Allah when he says that. He's the master, what's the word? The master economist. Oh, I love that. Imagine what that looks like spiritually. Oh, my God. Master Farrakhan Muhammad is unfathomable. He's like... Anyway, so they state with the tongue what is not in their heart. Just put that on its own. So, but I know what I'm talking about. See, as I'm writing this, I'm studying the people. So what these writings are, let's give it a little breakdown again. These writings are me listening to folks think. Okay? And this is me making a log, making a documentation or a document of that which I will need to break up the mind of falsehood. And one of the ways that we've been being ruled, particularly in the religious world and in the religious, you know, like, what do you call them, like sects or like religious denominations, thank you Allah, that's the word, is that they state with the tongue what is not in their heart. Praise be to Allah. Gotta stay hydrated today because, oh my God, it's very hot. And you know, on the way home, I was going past the river and it was drying up. Like, you can see it all drying up. And I even thought to myself, do I take a picture of this now and then take another picture of it in, let's say, 2 weeks' time? Because even now it looks really, really dry. Like, even on the banks on the side, you can see all the big rocks that were underwater. And Allah's doing something here. You know what? I had a bit of a sign. Well, I was thinking about it today. And it's that what Allah is doing with the sun, He's also doing it with the mind and the thoughts in the mind. He's burning up things. Things are being disintegrated, leaving nothing but the awareness that something is going on and it having something to do directly with God. See, even the devil or even Satan can't forget God. See? All these scientists of evil, am I not right in saying that they study the Quran? Am I not right in saying that in their high lofty places of so-called, what do they call that? Secret places, you know, secret councils, that's it. Secret councils. They have the holy books of Allah and the messages and scriptures and knowledge of the prophets. So Allah is burning up all of, he's burning the physical world in a sense. He's scolding, I'll use the word. He's scolding the physical reality we're all used to. But what that's doing on a spiritual level, I mean, Lord knows how deeply the sun affects us. Lord knows how deeply the sun affects us. As in, there are things the sun does with the human body that even the human being in the body doesn't even know what is happening. So look, if I'm to cut out, a human being from a piece of paper and the outline is drawn, then I cut around the form of a man. See? All that's left is the man. After I'm finished, correct? Meaning all of that other loose paper on the outside, we throw that away. Only a fool will say that it's not the truth after Master Farrakhan Muhammad is finished. Because what I'm essentially saying there is that he is cutting off the fat. He's cutting off the fat. He's cutting off the fat, he's cutting off the fat. Do you know what I mean? Meaning he's cutting off the part that is keeping us from him, or keeping us from our conscience of him. See, it says in the Quran, and those conscious of Allah, such and such. See, we've got so much dross on us. We've got so much like systematic mess all over us that when you take that off, you have a conscience of something higher going on. You have a conscience of your Lord. See? So Allah is essentially cutting off the fat of our stupidity in our minds and causing us, ready, to reflect. It's like a reminder. It's serving as a reminder. So, see? So, right, let's move on. So yeah, these leaders who have been ruling us, have been deceiving us, they state with the tongue what is not in their heart. Next one. Can you imagine meeting God face to face and him telling you what time it is? Can you imagine meeting God face to face and have him teach you the wisdom of the scripture and the scriptures? Can you imagine meeting God face to face and fasting with him? Oh, I like that one. Imagine we're fasting with God. Just go sit with the brothers in the nation and start fasting. And I've put, it's like the song of God is playing, but hardly anybody can hear it. Or maybe they can hear it, they're just pretending like they can't hear it. That beautiful call to his law and his reality from within and around. So they're pretending like they can't hear that beautiful call to his law and his reality from within and around. I say in my prayers, I thank you, Allah, for the gifts and signs and my talents within and around. Because signs are not external, or rather, they are not just external, they are also internal. You can get a sign from the God in you can find something out that you don't want to know, or that the you that you think is you don't want to know. See, God can find something. The God in you can find something out that the Satan in you doesn't want to know. Oh my gosh. This is the universal. I hope I'm living up to that. I really do. Praise be to Allah. Do you see how we can see how we can cheat ourselves? I said that last episode about when that air freshener got taken. And I said, well, I was in the office and I said, well, whoever it is, I said they can cheat all of us, but they can't cheat themselves. See? So this is a reminder. This is a reminder to not play with God. To not play with God. You understand? Because God is part of you. You can't play with that part in you, okay? You have to work with that part of you. Because God is the truth, and truth has authority over you. God has authority over you. And like, have you ever seen a child know that he's got dessert, and you tell the child, stop thinking about dessert? What's the child gonna do? Now we can't stop thinking about dessert. Okay. Alright. Your soulmate. A good relationship will make you more youthful and bring the best out of you. A bad relationship will age you prematurely and bring out the worst in you. That person will inspire you towards your greatness or confine you to places. That person will either be your other half or make you half of yourself. Choose your soulmate wisely. And this is why I'm so grateful to Allah that I followed my intuition, the God within me. Because I know something about me that even I have to be careful with. Just like you know something about you that you know you need to be careful with. We each have our own divine purpose. And if something doesn't align, particularly in the realm of who your soulmate is, doesn't align with that part in you, you have to know that that's then to be, you have to prioritize that. Because, and I understand why people want to I understand why people want to be in a relationship with somebody, truly. But I also know how that can be one of the greatest trials that Allah can bring upon you. Because God, until you find your soulmate, God is not finished with you. And even when you find your soulmate, God is still not finished with you. But that first phase, this world, is very... You have to be so locked in, as in like locked in with you, that, you know, that's going to be your compass. Your compass is what Allah has given for you to do as your assignment. And your assignment, your love for Allah. Allah comes first, okay? Allah comes first. See what the Honourable Minister Louis Farrakhan said at the janazah? He said, besides Allah coming in the person of Master Farrakhan Muhammad and raising the messenger and giving me life, then she is the single most greatest gift I have been given in life. See, all them three came first before that fourth. The minister had a knowing of who came first in his life. The minister said, Allah, the messenger, and giving me life. That was Allah, the messenger, and self. Those three come first. And a lot of people take all three of them away. And a little bit of the last one, they'll half and half it. They'll do a little bit for self, a little bit not. Or rather, they'll do not enough for self. I mean, you can't really be doing even half of that, because you're going to need the other first two to make even the self. Do you get what I mean? I hope you get what I mean by that. You're going to need Allah to become yourself. And then you're going to need his messenger, because the messenger is Allah as well. And then you're going to need to combine self with those two. And then you find you a woman. I believe 40 is the like is like a good age or something. I remember reading it somewhere like 40 is a good age to. You're in your peak or something like that. I can't remember where I read it. It was something based on Islam. They said like, let me find it, because I don't like giving you information that just seems like an assumption, because some assumption is sin. And so I like being accurate, and I like being truthful. And I know how doubtful we are, so I know how suspicious we are, so I'm aware of that. In Islam, turning 40 is a profound milestone marking the peak of intellectual and spiritual maturity. See? It is a transitional age where a believer is encouraged to deepen their gratitude, reflect on their purpose, and sincerely ask repentance. Recognizing Allah's favour upon you and your parents, prioritizing good deeds. But do you see how... Oh, wait. Reading, sorry. Yeah. So like, you have to mature first in what you believe in to truly be able to accept, like, to see correctly. Do you see? Because sometimes we find someone, but we aren't seeing things correctly. We've not matured enough to be able to see, I mean, what's going on, to see self, to see the woman, to see Allah and in the equation. It takes time, beloved, to be ready sometimes. I mean, I don't believe in being perfect, like, before you meet someone. I don't believe in that. I think there's an element of they and you have to be very open to the fact that there's going to be work on the other person to do. There's going to be, that's the way you show love. I mean, unless you're marrying Master Farrakhan Muhammad, you're not really gonna have, like, much to work on. Let's be real. But then again, Master Farrakhan Muhammad knows best in terms, because he will, I heard that he will get married one day. So It's one of them, like, God, I wonder who that woman is. You know. That's interesting, isn't it, to think? It's interesting. It's all very interesting. And so, yeah, your soulmate. That was what I'm going to say about that. And then I put underneath it, I think this could connect to it, could not. But usually when there's a gap between, it is a new thing. But I know what I'm like. I sometimes like just... Who is ringing me? I don't know who that is. I'm going to have to decline that call because I don't know who that is. Let's put that away. Okay. The thing is, we as men look so confident on the outside, but we are so lost inside. And women are the opposite. Based on the law of God, in comparison to this world of wickedness, our men do not know how to properly love our women, and our women do not know how to properly love our men. And therefore, there is this suffering from a relational malnutrition. Relational malnutrition. That's very interesting. It's where there is an absence of certain principles of reality and relation, where there is a barrier upon a connection due to the lack of knowledge of oneself and of one's reality. When a human being is malnourished, sickness, disease, and ultimately death is brought nearer to that individual. So if relationships today are not spiritually malnourished, there is a big risk of that relationship breaking due to lack of knowledge. Too many short-spaced relationships in today's society tells me that we don't know how to keep the other half there. I don't like saying the other half, like the other whole there. WHOLE. Either because we mistreat them or we have not been given the knowledge upon how to properly love the opposite sex. Most guys can't be friends with a woman without catching feelings. We have lost control of our passions through our passions. So you see how I'm thinking on the people. See, I think on us a lot because you'll know in other episodes I've not experienced this, so I have had a lot of time, like considerably more than a lot of men in my generation, to think over these things and to analyse what's going on, to be honest. And it's interesting that I've wrote this 7th of July 2020, which means it could have well been wrote at like 2019 or 18, because that's when it's printed, not when it was written. Could have done with that before, mate. Allah's the best knower, you know. He's the best knower, you know. Did you know that? So, who we are is a stepping stone to who we can become. But that was interesting. There was a lot of things in that big paragraph before that really caught my attention. It said it's where there is an absence of certain principles, certain knowledge of reality and relation, where there is a barrier upon a connection due to the lack of knowledge of oneself and of one's reality. That's really important because I believe it's within Allah's will to have each individual know themselves. See, know thyself, knowledge of self. When we don't know who we are, it can be a little bit awkward in a way. And when we don't know self, it produces insecurity. it produces an element of, yeah, insecurity is the best word for that. Insecurity, meaning we're not secure in self, we're not secure of things about ourselves, you know, and especially coming from this world, which does such a great job to make, specifically, I mean, all people, but men, you know, insecure about being a man or being the God that is within all men, within man. You know, like, we're in a world that makes men feel weird or feel some type of way for being a god. Like, the amount of people that would kill a god before they help a god, or like, you know, corrupt a god instead of, what's the word, co-align themselves with the god. You know, like, sometimes, yo, I do think, like, one of the ways that women fall is when she's disappointed when it comes to the man. Because, God, Brother James said a lot, you know. I listened to, literally, in the space of a day, I've listened to all 3 of them. Well, I think there's 4 or 5. I keep seeing there's another one, and I'm like, oh yeah, go on then, I'll watch the next one. Because, like, what he said basically was that, oh, you know what, I need to listen to it again to be able to fully get that across to you guys. But women love gifts, you know. And you know what the minister says? He says, oh, praise be to Allah, he says, I see that you'd be with me in the cool of the night, but would you still be with me in the heat of the day? Or the Honourable Elijah Muhammad said, you know, you're with me now when I have something to give to you, but will you be with me when I have nothing to give to you? What a great test. What a great test that was. Because you can't fathom somebody like Elijah Muhammad having nothing to give. The minister couldn't see it, you know what I mean? Which makes it even more of a trial. Because that's how Allah does it. He always says it's the blow you don't see coming. He says it's the one you don't see coming. Like, and this is why we should know who knows best. And study, so that at least if we not only know who knows best, but we can know a little bit more than we do, so that at least we're closer to the one who knows best than we were. That's the beauty of study. It closes the gap. Praise be to Allah. Okay. Enlightenment is ego's ultimate disappointment. Ooh. Yep. You know, I'll go back to that talk with the housemate. It's as though the higher in frequency that the conversation went, or rather, the higher the degree that I took it, the conversation, the more disappointment I sensed. As though, somebody to learn from, thought I was there, and, like, a bit like, well, this guy just shut up already, like, you know, because the ego can't exist. You suffocate the ego, meaning the ego to me is like somebody who thinks they know everything, or somebody who don't like to know more, or don't even like to know that they need to learn more. I don't even know. Do you know what I mean? Like, someone who's a bit like, that's the best sound I could give it. It's like, shut up, like, And I'm just like, you know, and that's what James said. Like, you know, Joshua told him, he was like, thank you for sharing your knowledge. And James said something like, yo, oh no, that's what he said. He said, James, you know, I hate to do this, but can you come back for a part 4? Like, can you come back for a part 4? In other words, like, it was getting on a bit, like, the episode. And he kind of wanted to wrap things up a bit. He didn't want to do too much. He just wanted to do a nice proportionate amount of whatever the podcast. You know, we have our own little vision for things in it in the nation. So, anyway, the way James responded was was like, I was gonna say like Captain America. I could do this all day, but it's true. Like, James was basically saying like, brother, you don't need to ask me. He said, I'll do a part 4, a 5, 6, 7. I'll come back and do as many as I can. He said, because you're doing a great work. I see how he said basically, you have to shut me up. Like, you have to shut me up. You'll have to tell me. You know what's interesting? It's in the Quran, I think. It says like, or I think it is somewhere. See, Allah just gives it me, but sometimes I don't know where its source is, but I know it's true. Praise be to Allah. Is that it says like, when you're with Muhammad, like, ask him, can you take leave of him, because he won't ask you to leave. You see what I mean? Like, he won't ask you, like, right, can I have a minute now? Like, he can do it all the days and all the nights and all the, like, teaching at the dinner table, teaching a lecture, going back, teaching behind the curtain, then teaching at another dinner table, going back home, teaching the family, you know, and you know, Elijah Muhammad was just teaching. The Honourable Minister Farrakhan was just teaching. You see? You couldn't stop him. Once they're gone, they're gone. They're off. They are somewhere in their greatest love. Praises be to Allah. They're up in the stratosphere. They're out in the universe somewhere. And it is beautiful out there, beloved. Like, the universe is beautiful. Like, there is a lot of diversity. Oh, Allah says that if you were to exhaust the words of Allah, you could never do it. If the pens were as ink, if the trees were as pens, and the seas with 7 more added to them were as ink, you could never exhaust the words of Allah. Allahu Akbar. Praise be to Allah. So, let's continue. Since you could think, you've been looking for the reasons why. And you can agree that we all have a right to truth as we do freedom, justice, and equality. It is in our nature to be a correct person in the correct lane with a correct understanding. It's just how you were made. The master teaches, the brain cell was created to think rightly. So since truth or right guidance pulls us away from false guidance towards itself in hope to correct us, I spend my time looking for right guidance, and it's indicators that perhaps I can become a rightly guided man myself. Oh, my God. He always makes me laugh. He actually does. When I feel like I'm getting like overwhelmed, I also get another overwhelming feeling. And it's like it's really gratitude, you know. I said it to someone in work the other day. There's this beautiful sister, she's really pretty. And I low key get really shy around her, like, because she's so pretty. I sometimes struggle to look at her because I'm like, you're actually really pretty. Um, but anyway, she like I told her the other day that like I was going home to write and stuff because I was like on my phone as it was charging it, like where they all make a cup of tea and that. And I told her I'm gonna go. I basically told her about like this is not really work to me. This is just how I'm earning money. I said my work is when I get home and I start writing. And I ended up just saying to her that, you know, I mean, God knows what I say sometimes. I can't really fully depict what order it all comes in, but I remember what I did say in relative to what I was saying then about gratitude. And it's that I said gratitude is the attitude that brings altitude. And she like was like, whoa. And then she tried to say it herself but couldn't say it. So she said, no, you say it again. She said, you say it again. I said, all right. I said, catch it this time. I said, gratitude is the attitude that brings altitude. But like, I was doing it. I did. What, are you ready? Heart, gratitude, is the attitude. Head. Sorry, that sounded really, that hurt a bit. It's the attitude. Head. That brings altitude. And then I went like up with my hand. See? It's like heart, head, praise. See? The praise, it belongs, all of it, to Allah. And the ministers like that, you know, like the minister Louis Farrakhan is so wonderful. Don't I know? Don't we know? Don't we know? Okay. What else did I say in that? Yeah, I said it. I said it all. Truth gives us the chance to become a whole new version of ourselves, with a whole new perspective on what everything, including what we thought before, was and is. And that's exactly why the majority of people refuse to go where there is a sense of enlightenment, because most of the time, the truth is pointing in a direction that people think is the wrong way. Truth is always pointing at something much deeper than what you think. Always remember that. But see, when the truth was not there, you filled in the spaces of your heart with assumptions and answers that were incorrect. And without any correction, those voided answers eventually cause us pain, sooner or later, because we find out that our lives have been constructed upon a lie or upon lies, and that we had made choices based on lies. A'udhu billah min shaitan rajim. I seek refuge in you, Allah, from the accursed Satan. I seek thy refuge in you, Allah, from the evil of the slinking devil that whispers into the hearts of men. That's what that is. That's what's going on there. Is that when we're getting those, you see how your mind will construct it for you? Well, he didn't come home because, oh, well, he must be, he's at that girl's house. Well, I seen that, well, you know, and your mind will just start writing the script. You have to say, yo, shut your mouth, blood. Sorry, no, I shouldn't speak like this. I sound like Hakeem on a weekend when he's like, no, I can't even Hakeem it. Hakeem is Hakeem. But, you know, he goes into his Caribbean accent, you know, man. I've got that with, like, you know, my own little way. I don't know. I love my accents, and I love my expressiveness sometimes. That's why, again, when I was telling you before, when I was showing that sister with my hands, she was able to grasp it a lot better, because I was showing you where each principle came from. The gratitude came from the heart. The attitude came from the mentality, the mind. And the altitude, that goes straight to Allah. Came straight from Allah. See? Praise be to Allah. We're at the end, by the way, so don't worry. People are not distancing themselves from truth, because most people, they already know it deep down, under all the bravado. But rather they distance themselves from the change that comes with the truth. The stripping away of the falseness and the building of a new person, even to the most considered conscious souls, is intimidating, or is a courageous thing for one to embark on. Anybody deemed intelligent in the spiritual community at the root has at some point experienced truth or right guidance that they could not brush past. They could not brush aside as easily as the majority. They followed their soul call, but their heads are heavy. So be gentle and considerate, and speak to your children as if it were somebody else's child. I got that from Mum. My mum said that to me, because she works with parents and stuff. She said that's the one that always gets them to think. She said, I tell my parents, speak to that child as though you're speaking as if it were somebody else's child, as if you were speaking to somebody else's child. But it takes somebody, it takes somebody to know how to be with another person's or woman's or father's child, to even begin to do that. Because I can't really go into all that, but I'll just say that Mum's right. I'll just say that. Alright. Truth and change act as one inseparable boulder against the ego, the self-constructed reality. We adjust our behaviour and our actions for a female that we may desire to seek pleasure from, yet we will refuse to make adjustments when it comes to fulfilling our own dreams for the benefit of our own self. We find it hard to change. You know what I'm getting from that? Woman, you're the only heaven for a man. So much so that a man will forget his own self. Because you're so fine. Find that really interesting. Alright. The ones that stand against you are the ones that believe in your power the most. If you could be a quarter of what I've put here, if I could be a quarter of what you are, Louis Farrakhan, ... I strive. Oh, I've got to the end of the page, man. Why? I was literally one sentence away. One sec. Sorry. Rise above emotion into the thinking of God. Said God to Jack. Praise be to Allah. It is he who makes one laugh, and it is he who makes one weep. Praise be to Allah. I used to look for the God in people. Now I'm looking for the devil, and it's not because he's my friend. I'm just terribly unsettled, and I'm right within my reasons. Yeah. Call me the hypocrite destroyer. Believe me, beloved, like those last words there, because I'm gonna end it now. But that last little sentence there. I used to look for the God in people, and now I'm looking for the devil, and it's not because he's my friend. I'm just terribly unsettled, and I'm right within my reasons. Those are the words of a warrior who made it his mission to launch himself as a spear at Satan. Warrior. I am the warrior of God. But I love to love, and that is my greatest weapon. Allahu Akbar. So, so, as we come to the beginning of our lecture, the God's funny, man. He's hilarious. As we make it to the first 10th of this mountain that we are about to climb, we now enter the next 9 phases. The 9 tenths. God, I don't even know what I'm saying right now, but why do I get that feeling that the 9 tenths? Where does 9 tenths fit in the teachings? 9 tenths. Nine tenths is in the teaching somewhere. See, I'm listening to me also, you know. That's why. Why do you think sometimes I weep, yo? Or I just burst out laughing because I find it funny. You know what I mean? Okay, the classic proverb that possession is 9 tenths of the law. What? I mean, I don't know about that. Again, don't listen to that. I don't. From what I know, that's not from Elijah Muhammad. 9 tenths, Nation of Islam. The phrase 9 tenths in the Nation of Islam most famously originates from the teachings by NOI founder Wallace Master Farrakhan Muhammad and the leader, the Christ, the Honourable Elijah Muhammad. It refers to the doctrine that 9 tenths of the black population had been misled by the white race. Oh. The lost population. Elijah Muhammad frequently stated in his writings that the whites were responsible for misleading 9 tenths of the total population of the black nation. Okay, so there's a picture of Gaddafi. Oh, praise be to Allah for him. May Allah be pleased. So we'll do a bit of the companies. So that's again. We got to the top of one mountain. We're at the bottom of another. and that is this chapter. So, the name of this chapter, the companies, is chapter 39. 9 plus 3 is 12. 2 plus 1 is 3. And 3 is a magic number. Alright, so it says the name of this chapter, the companies, refers to the two classes, the believers and the disbelievers. Its revelation belongs to the middle Meccan period. Sincere obedience to Allah is required in the first section. Those who obey are the believers, and those who refuse to obey are the disbelievers. And the two are spoken of in the next section. The third shows that the Quran is a perfect guidance, and the fourth that its rejectors will be punished. The fifth emphasizes the punishment of rejectors by stating that evil will not be averted from those who persist in rejection, and the sixth calls attention to divine mercy, which is so vast that the greatest sinners have no reason to despair. Praise be to Allah. The last two sections speak of the coming of the judgment, when each of the two parties is made to taste that which it deserves. Okay, section 1, obedience to Allah. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. The revelation of the book is from Allah, the Mighty, the Wise. Surely we have revealed to thee the book with truth. So serve Allah, being sincere to Him in obedience. Now surely sincere obedience is due to Allah alone. And those who choose protectors besides Him say, we serve them only that they may bring us nearer to Allah. Wow. Surely Allah will judge between them in that in which they differ. Surely Allah guides not him who is a liar, ungrateful. If Allah desired to take a son to Himself, He could have chosen those He pleased out of those whom He has created. Glory be to Him! Exclamation mark. He is Allah, the One, the Subduer of all. He has created the heavens and the earth with truth. He makes the night cover the day, and makes the day overtake the night. And He has made the sun and the moon subservient. Each one moves onto an assigned term. Now surely He is the mighty forgiver. He created you from a single being, then made its mate of the same kind. And He sent down for you 8 of the cattle in pairs. He creates you in the wombs of your mothers, creation after creation, in triple darkness. That is Allah, your Lord. His is the kingdom. There is no God but He. How are you then turned away? If you are ungrateful, then surely Allah is above need of you, and He likes not ungratefulness in His servants. And if you are grateful, He likes it for you. And no bearer of a burden will bear another's burden. Then to your Lord is the return. Then He will inform you of what you did. Surely He is knower of what is in the breasts. And when distress afflicts a man, he calls upon his Lord, turning to Him. Then when He grants him a favour from Him, he forgets that for which he called upon Him before, and sets up rivals to Allah, that He may cause men to stray from His path. Say, enjoy thine ungratefulness for a little. Surely thou art the companions of the fire. Is he who is obedient during hours of the night, prostrating himself and standing, taking care of the hereafter, and hoping for the mercy of his Lord? Say, are those who know and those who know not alike? Only men of understanding mind. You know, praises be to Allah. Should we do section 2 as well? Yeah, we'll do section 2 as well. Why not? Say, and by the way, that was 9 verses. The first section there is 9 verses. There's something I learnt from James as well today. Well, I've picked it up as I grow as a student, and it's that numbers become valuable to you. Numbers have a way of communicating to you in a very special way, and there is a code that moves as time does, that moves as the development of man does, that moves as the perfection or the leading to the perfection moves in complete harmony and in a certain manner that, again, it says only men of understanding mind, it says. And so, try not to lean on thine own understanding and our own assumptions and our own view of things, and try to tune into again, we're going to have to study to get through all this. We're going to have to study, beloved. There's no escape from study. There's no escape from study. Like, if we want to make it in the hereafter, but it says in that verse there, like, where did it say? It was beautiful. It says, it says, prostrating himself and standing, taking care of the hereafter. See what I mean? Taking care of the hereafter. It means we have to see into things such as the future, or seeing into the meanings of things, into the root of things, meaning we will be able to be as like co-operators of the will of God. Praise be to Allah. So what was I saying about James though? I was saying something about James. It's gone from me, but it's okay. You guys can probably take it from there. You can do something with it, because Allah is the greatest, and you know that. So for those that have gotten to this stage, I mean, I can't see anybody who doesn't believe listening to me, unless they're just trying to be nosy. I do know that the hypocrites are very nosy, so they like to get right among those that really, are sincere. So I mean, you've got some ball. Sorry, no, I can't say that. You've got some nerve to come to me if you are a hypocrite and watch over me like I'm some TV show or something. I don't know. Because I swear down, I've got stuff to break Satan. Yo. The hypocrites don't want to get around me for too much longer. Because, I mean, I only need the word from Allah. I only need the thumbs up. And I'll... Oh, yes. But I don't make no, like... I don't make myself of no reputation in that sense. I try to lead with mercy. I try to remember that Muhammad, was actually merciful to the hypocrites. And some of them turned, I think, from their hypocrisy. And he was able to help them. Or he freed them of some sort, Do you know what I mean? Muhammad, peace be upon him, Ibn Abdullah, he's very dear to me. Very dear to me. Just the other day, I asked Allah to give me his heart. And you know what happened? It was really weird, actually. I just started crying immediately. It was as though he answered me like straight away and gave me like, he didn't give me his heart in that sense, but like, it's just he gave me like a viewing into what it was like, and it was very heavy. Like, I just started to weep, and I was only walking home, like, and it was very. It means a lot to me, Prophet Muhammad. I'm very patient with those who have a lot of, bad things to say about him. And I thank Allah for making me to be so patient with some of the things that I hear about that beloved man, to whom the book we're reading here was revealed to. It was brought through him. It was really brought through Jibreel as well, technically, in a way. But anyway, we're not going into all that. You probably had enough of me by now, so I'm trying to wrap it up. But you know what I'm like by now. Yes. I would read the footnotes, because that's something I've been really trying to commit myself to, like, recently. Like, genuinely digging deep and reading those footnotes, because as I grow, it's not even I want to try and read them. I am very eager to learn what somebody else, the Honourable Elijah Muhammad, said has a good interpretation of the Word of God in the Quran, has to say about the Quran and about it. Because, look, if the scientists are waiting for, like, pardon me, if the scientists are waiting for men to show up to complete Allah's favour, or to help complete Allah's favour upon man, then Maulana Muhammad Ali is also, somebody who is, like, part of the will of God. So may Allah be pleased with Maulana Muhammad Ali, because we often don't even pay homage, or I don't see it personally, but that's all right. We probably do it behind closed doors or whatnot. I know what we're like. So may Allah be pleased with Maulana Muhammad Ali, because specifically the one I've got here is full of guidance, like, especially as it relates to the spiritual element, which is what this is all about, this broadcast. The universal. It looks so small, doesn't it? I gotta do something different, but I kind of like being a little ant, I don't know, I just like being a little ant. That's the best way I could say it. I just like being a little worker, you know what I mean? I like just praise be to Allah. Alright. Okay. Say, O my servants who believe, keep your duty to your Lord, for those who do good in this world is good, and Allah's earth is spacious. Truly the steadfast will be paid their reward without measure. Say, I am commanded to serve Allah, being sincere to him in obedience, and I am commanded to be the first of those who submit. Say, I fear, if I disobey my Lord, the chastisement of a grievous day. Say, Allah I serve, being sincere to him in my obedience. Serve then what you will besides him. Say, the losers surely are those who lose themselves and their people on the day of resurrection. Now surely that is the manifest loss. They shall have coverings of fire above them and coverings beneath them. With that Allah makes his servants to fear. So keep your duty to me, O my servants. Praise be to Allah. And those who eschew the worship of the idols and turn to Allah, for them is good news. So give good news to my servants, who listen to the word, then follow the best of it. Such are they whom Allah has guided, and such are the men of understanding. He against whom the sentence of chastisement is due, Canst thou save him who is in the fire? But those who keep their duty to their Lord, for them are high places, above them higher places, built for them, wherein rivers flow. It is the promise of Allah. Allah fails not in his promise. Seest thou not that Allah sends down water from the clouds? He always says this, right? So about this, right? It's like, oh, Allah's just hilarious. I love Allah. I love his word is so intriguing. It's the best way. Like, it's the opposite of being driven away from the word. Like, disbelievers are driven away from the word of Allah, but the believers are driven closer to it. They adhere more to it. There's an interest to it that's unlike to anything that they know. Do you know what I mean? Something about the word of Allah that is very, very important to the believer. Anyway, seest thou not that Allah sends down water from the clouds, then makes it go down into the earth in springs, then brings forth therewith herbage of various hues, then it withers so that thou seest it turn yellow, then he makes it chaff. Surely there is a reminder in this for men of understanding. Praises be to Allah. So we'll call that a day, because that was the next. So that was the 21st verse that we ended on there, which is 11. 9, 11. See what I mean? Like, the way I look at mathematics now, like, certain things just, everything's coded, beloved. Like, when we call him Master Farrakhan Muhammad, we really do mean, I hope you can hear me, by the way. My laptop's a bit further away. When we call him Master Farrakhan Muhammad, we seriously do mean, like, Master Farrakhan Muhammad, the great Mahdi. He's very, very, very masterful. And again, big shout out to Brother James. He's a brilliant soldier, and he's a wonderful servant of Allah to listen to. Because, you know, he's remembered much of what has been written, and big credit to him, because I never really, I've seen videos of the brother on, like, Instagram and stuff, but I never quite knew he was that, like, I don't like saying this, but, like, I didn't realize how, like, how beautifully locked in he is, if that makes sense. Like, he's locked in, bro. Like, he's so good at, he's such a good minister. And I advise you all to listen to Brother James on the People's Podcast on YouTube. But yes, this will be the end of this episode. I don't know how long it's been, but Lord knows it's probably been too long. But, you know, we don't care. I mean, you never know. To someone out there, they may love it when it's longer. You never know. So, I like it when it's longer, because I get to fly. Fly like a bird, I wanna fly away. I don't know where my home is. Hopefully it's with the Master. Praise be to Allah. Praise be to Allah. Always hope. Have hope, beloved. Have hope, beloved. Hey, have hope, beloved. The prayers of the righteous availeth much. Know that. You know. I had a thought the other day. I made a little prayer. I said, Allah, anybody that's ever helped me in any stage of my development, have mercy upon them. So, like, there's an element of how the believer can pray that can really, really help people. And we should always remember how powerful prayer can be, and how powerful our sincerity can be in that prayer. Anybody can say, I would have blamed Shaitan regime, Bismillah, and then just get up and leave the room. Like, no, Allah wants you to, like, breathe, be clean. What do you want to say to me, beloved? I'm open. I'm not running away from you, I'm running to you. I thought, you know, it reminded me of the minister when he says, now don't wet your pants, hold on to your pants. Alright. I need you up now before I start getting silly. I told you I get silly. I get silly. I get a bit silly sometimes. But yeah. Alright, well, Assalamu alaikum. And thank you for listening. And yeah, Assalamu alaikum. I love you.